Yes, there are things that may never happen until and unless prayer and fasting happens. There are things that will never happen for you, that may never happen to you, that may never happen in your life until prayer and fasting happens in your life. Until you pray and fast, there are things that may never take place. So it is a requirement. Prayer and fasting is a requirement for certain things to happen, for certain things to move, for certain things to come, for certain things to go. Where do we get that from? We get that from Matthew chapter 17, verse 19, 20, and 21. It says, Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Jesus said unto them, Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. However, this type goeth not out, but by much prayer and fasting. Jesus replied the disciples, saying something, but we must be able to hear everything. God can say something, and by the Spirit of God, we can hear everything that He is saying, though He did not say it or mention it. The first thing Jesus is saying to the disciples is, outside prayer and fasting, there is no protection or total protection from certain demons. Jesus is saying this boy was possessed. He was talking about the boy whom the disciples had failed to deliver from a deaf and dumb spirit. For hours and hours, the boy could not be delivered, could not be healed, until Jesus came and He delivered the boy. And the disciples then asked Jesus, why couldn't we deliver this boy? And Jesus is not telling them the reason why they could not deliver him. He is also telling them why the boy was possessed, why the boy was in such a problem, why demons preferred him. So there is a certain type of demons that prefers people who do not fast and pray. And there is that same type of demons that do not like to possess people of prayer and fasting. So prayer and fasting is a dismissal letter to certain demons or to a certain kind of demons. Lack of prayer and fasting is also an invitation letter to a certain type of demons to come and possess you and destroy your life. So when Jesus was speaking to his disciples, he was also speaking to us and speaking to the boy's father and to everyone, saying, prayer and fasting is a prescription for protection from certain demons that possess people. Or in a way, prayer and fasting is a prescription for against possession by certain or by a certain type of demons. So in a way, he is telling disciples and even us to say, if a man is a man of prayer and fasting, he is empowered to determine what stays in his life and what goes. So in a way, again, he's saying prayer and fasting gives a man power to determine, to decide what stays and what goes. So in your life, if you are seeing a certain condition, a certain problem not going, the answer is in Matthew 17 verse 1. It says, this type goeth not except by much prayer and fast. You might be praying, but it's not much. You might be fasting, but it's not much. That's why we are always saying, let us not be found wanting. Let us not be found in deficit, in any kind of deficit concerning prayer and fasting. So Jesus is saying, a man of prayer and fasting is a man of much victory and much freedom. Freedom to do what they want to do. Freedom to have what they want to have. Freedom to determine what stays and what goes. I can tell you, child of God, from this verse only. This is in the New Testament. This is Jesus telling his disciples the prescription for certain demons, the antidote for certain demons to go. He is telling them the tool to use for freedom. So prayer and fasting is a weapon for the destruction and the dismissal of certain spirits from your life, from your business, and from your destiny. For your own information, this boy was thought to be having epilepsy. He was thought to be deaf and dumb, yet he was possessed. So there are names and conditions, inabilities that you have in your life that you think are natural, that you think are economical, that you think are social, yet they are spiritual. So in a way, Jesus is saying, in the absence of prayer and fasting calls for the presence of certain types of demons. Demons that can only go when you fast. Things that can only change when you fast and pray. So there is change that is a byproduct of prayer and fasting. There is deliverance from certain spirits that is a byproduct or a fruit of prayer and fasting. When we look at you and we do not see a certain type of possession, a certain type of demons, we know automatically that this person is a fasting machine. There are demons that vet and go through somebody's lifestyle before they possess them. So demons, when they are looking for people to possess this type, it looks at your lifestyle. Have you fasted? Yes. Have you prayed? Yes. They will leave you. And when they have already possessed you, when you start fasting and all the boxes are ticked, fasting, yes, praying, yes, they will leave. You don't need anything else. Jesus is saying there are demons that do not need you to take them to church for them to go. You just need to go away from food and go away from prayerlessness. So eating and prayerlessness is a cause for possession. You cure certain diseases, certain conditions, and certain possessions by staying away from food and prayerlessness. And like I said before, prayerlessness is the highest form of pride. Eating is the highest form of pride. Eating the whole year. God does not hate food, but God hates it when you eat food every day. No, one day that you fast and pray. What am I saying, child of God? We have called for a 12-day fast where we are going to be fasting for the year 2025. We are going to command the year. If you go into the Bible, just like I said, just like I showed you from the book of Ezra, I want to show you something from the book of Ezra. It says in verse 21, Ezra chapter 8, verse 21, it says, there by the Ahava canal, I proclaimed a fast so that we might humble ourselves before our God. So fasting and prayer is an act of humility. You humble yourself, you submit yourself. You say, God, I can't do without you. I can't go without you. I can't be without you. It cannot happen without you. It's a message of surrendering to God, to surrender everything. God, I need to get married, but I surrender the whole issue to you. I need your help. I need you to help me. Without your help, I can't do it. Oh God, help me. So when you fast and pray, you are saying, because action speaks louder than words. When God sees you fasting, he knows you are saying, help me, God. So fasting and prayer is an act that says, help me, God. And God will help you because God is so faithful, he's so powerful, and he's so loving and caring. It says, so that we might humble ourselves before our God and ask him for a safe journey for us and our children with all our possessions. I didn't know that you can fast for your car. When you fast, your car is included, your house is included, your vegetables, your pigs are also included so that they can multiply safely in 2025. I didn't know that until I saw this verse. You can fast for your fruit trees. You can fast for your garden. You can fast for your company. You can fast for anything that is on the earth, for its well-being, for its prosperity. Child of God, hear what Ezra did. So in a way, Ezra is telling us that prayer and fasting is a requirement, one, for preservation, is a requirement, two, for protection, is a requirement for divine help, for God's help, for God's intervention, for the leadership of God. Prayer and fasting is also a requirement, child of God, as you can see, for the determination of events and outcomes. What will happen in 2025 is decided and determined in the prayer room. What will come out of 2025 is determined today in the prayer room. You don't decide 2025 in 2025. You decide what you want to see in 2025 in 2024. That's why I am always, I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's why I've said I will not pray for 2025 in 2025. No. You can't be in it and then start praying for it. You have to be outside it and then command words into it ahead of time. Determine what you shall see on the 1st of January 2025. You do that in December 2024. You do that in November 2024. That's how you prepare. So prayer and fasting are ingredients that are needed for certain things to happen, for certain divine things to happen. Hear that from me, child of God. And the Bible says in verse 23, so we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayer. God answers prayer. God responds to fasting. Hear this, child of God. Prayer moves us to God, but fasting moves God to us. When you combine the two, you move to God and he moves to you, and things will change. Child of God, do not listen to the devil. He's going to tell you not to fast. If you are sick, make sure you are taking light food. If you are on medication, take light food, just like Daniel, and continue to fast with us, eating lightly. Food that you need to eat, you can even ask your physician, your doctor, how to fast whilst taking your medication and light food, and God will hear you. I have loads and loads of verses where the Bible shows us in the New Testament when people fasted, even after Jesus had died on the cross, people fasted for certain outcomes, for certain results to come their way. Outside fasting, there are certain results that may not come to you, that you may never access because demons will be blocking you. So in a way, Jesus was saying, when you stop fasting, you have stopped yourself from accessing certain results that are meant for those that fast. There are results and outcomes and victories that are only meant for those that pray and fast. And pray and fast a certain number of days per year. How many days have you fasted and prayed, child of God? So I'm calling you today that you and I start our fast on the 20th of November 2024. Our fasting starts at 12 midnight each day and ends at 4 p.m. During that time, we'll be praying and feasting on the word, praying and determining the year, the coming year. And we are going to fast for 12 days, meaning to say each day represents a month in the year 2025. So day 1 will be January, day 2 February, day 3 March. So you'll be declaring, decreeing, deciding what you want to see on the 1st of January, on the 10th of January, what you want to see in the month of January. You speak and it shall come to pass. You shall speak and God will make it happen. As you speak, you are cooking out events. You are determining events. You are deciding events. Child of God, I can show you what Nehemiah did in the book of Nehemiah chapter 1. It says, when I heard these things, I sat down and wept. It did not end there. If you see something wrong in your life, something that has made you to cry every day, you are 40, not married, no child, you have fibroids, you have no job, you have no man. Yes, you are crying, but what do you do after that determines what happens at the end. It says, for some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. After all is said and done, after all is heard and done, pray and fast to the God of heaven. Do not boycott food where you don't eat but you don't pray. Fast and pray. It means you are reading the word and praying. Do not mind what happens. I know what the devil does. He is the father of lies and he is a great schemer. You are going to meet challenges along the way. A lot of things that will cause you to think I must not fast. Continue to fast. Whether you dream eating food, continue fasting. Whether you dream a spiritual husband, continue fasting. Whether thieves come and steal from, continue fasting. Whether you are fired from your job, continue fasting. Whether you discover that your husband is cheating, continue fasting, child of God. Nothing, I mean nothing, can happen to you that is allowed or that must be allowed to stop you from fasting. Are we together? Are we together? Child of God, I'm calling you once again to join us, to join me, to join thousands others across the whole world to fast for the year 2025, a very difficult year, a year that only God can help you see through. Only God can help you see through. It will be a very difficult year in finances. Very difficult year in finances. And there will be a very big rise. You see the news in terms of death by cancer. So we need the help of God. That's why we declared, the Lord gave us, that 2025 is the year of God's help. Not help from your company, help from your boss, help from your father, from your friend. You receive help from God. God himself will help you financially. He will help you to build. He will help you to get what you want. He will help you to escape the snare of the fowler, to escape the captivity of the family, to escape witchcraft in the family, to escape covenants, to escape anything that is wrong. He will help you. It is a year that you come out and say, had it been not been for the help of the Lord, I was never going to make it. And you are going to be saying, the Lord my God has helped me to get married. He has helped me to build this house from a salary of 50 USD. He has helped me to acquire properties against trends, against what is obtaining in the economy. Let's fast so that we become qualified for certain deliverances, qualified to function and to live according to the will of God, according to the design of God. So it is prayer and fasting that qualifies you for a certain kind of freedom from a certain kind of demons. As long as you do not fast, you are saying these demons are legally required to stay. So prayer and fasting is a legal requirement for the expulsion and the dismissal of a certain type of demons. Unless and until somebody fast and pray, they are not legally allowed or legally qualified to live. Those demons are entitled to possess you, entitled to control things in your life. So we remove their control by fasting and praying. You are welcome to join me and even to ask questions. Please, when you are contacting me, use the number that I'm using to send messages. It's faster. I'm always with that number, the same number that I've sent this audio with. Please, that's the number you must use to send me messages as we start our fasting. There will be prayer points, and I'll give you more information today where we are going to have the book to study and see what God wants us to do in 2025. Thank you so much. You are blessed.